Huckleberry.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit.
Yo. Yo. Peace, power, prosperity. Let me get one if you can hear me. Show me a one if you can hear me. Dimples. I see you're already starting with the bullshit. Mod of the year. What up? Peace, power, prosperity to the village. Y'all already know. Got a question. It's an easy confession. He and I is him, slim, trim, and I'm built to win. This is Granny's baby. I am numero uno. Flaco fuerte. Hope all is well. StreamYard, and already tripping, just like it was tripping earlier. So hopefully it works. Ran across an interview though with this Tyler Bowyer dude. y'all don't know who Tyler Bowyer is. He's affiliated with TPUSA. He's the COO of a branch of TPUSA called Turning Point Action, named Tyler Bowyer. Riddled with scandal, absolutely riddled with scandal after scandal after scandal, which leads into my next video that's coming up, the octopus one, right? Which is oh, let me show y'all. I already made the what you call it, thumbnail for it, so it's on its way. I already made the thumbnail for it. Let me share that with y'all real quick. Pull that down. Talking about some damn dimples. Need your ass whooped. Boom. When you see this one, this you know it's going down. This is the octopus. Get it? TPUSA, octopus. Get it? All right. Wow, tough crowd. Tip your waitress. Ooh, yikes. Ooh, that's tough. But that's it right there. It's already built, already got it scheduled. Tomorrow weekend. Already scheduled. I just got I wonder when I got it scheduled for. It's this week. Is it tomorrow? Maybe tomorrow. I got like this one and like 3 other shows. I got the Eisenhower, Octopus A, and the Informant. That's the 3 I got loaded up. So stand by for those. They coming this week, hot and heavy. It's gonna be like twice a day. I'm gonna try to shoot the midday slot, and I'm gonna try to shoot this slot. So like 12 and 12, right? Like 12-1, 12-1. I'm gonna try to shoot that slot. So turn on your notifications so you get the ping ping whenever I hit the button. Let's jump into this video real quick. And during the video, I'll stop and talk some more about this this guy. But this guy's a piece of work, man. Something's off with this dude. Try not to go at the individual, right? But go at the action, right? The idea, the behavior. I'm trying to crack this dude's head open because he's extremely aggravating. I only watched a piece of this, and I was extremely aggravated. I was gonna shoot it last night, changed my mind, left it alone. So I'm shooting it tonight. I think I'm in a better mood to shoot it tonight. Hopefully I don't cuss and carry on. Yeah, schedule don't matter. Bullshit, you keep trying. Sometimes you gotta pop out and shut niggas. You heard? All right, let's get this video rolling. Give me 1 second. I gotta put some honey in this damn tea, man. I gotta put some honey in this tea. I'm gonna put some honey in this tea, load the video, and I'll be right back. Bear with me. Everybody pour into the room, hit the like button, be nice to one another. About to fire it up soon. Yeah. It's doing it again already. It's already doing it. Why is it doing this? You know what? Let me try putting it in. Let me try this one. Not in the mood. Not in the mood. Not in the mood. Not in the mood. So it's working in there. Okay. I guess I gotta swap over the browsers. That's never been a thing before. I have mercy. What is going on? Oh, they got you, Miss Bevan. I got you, Miss Bevan. What is this? You gotta be shitting me. Hold on. This motherfucker's tripping. Now it's no sound. Jesus Christ. It's not playing the video. As soon as I drop the video to play it, it's not playing that now. Bruh. What the fuck is going on? Danny boy, oh Danny boy. What's up, G? What the fuck? Yo. Stream y'all be tweaking, dog. It did this shit earlier. So swap the browsers. Now it's no sound. Jesus fucking. Oh my God. Bear with me, dog. It did this shit earlier. Let me stop sharing that. Let me see if I can pull it. Shoot it live. This is insanity, dog. It's always something. Jesus Christ, bro. Lost connect. I'm closing on the browser. Give me 1 second. This is fucking insanity. This is insanity, bro. It does not want to play. It does not want to play at all. Jesus Christ, bro. What the good old StreamYard. What is going on, yo? This is insanity, bro. What in the... Let me go put some honey in this tea. This is insanity, bro. Now StreamYard doesn't even want to work. Yo, what is going on? I wish this was a joke. I can't even see it. There is no way, bro. Yo, I'm telling you, everything is tripping the fuck out right now. Everything, every single thing is not working right now. StreamYard is not going to play the video. This is insane. Over there. I don't know what's going on. It's not even Wi-Fi. Everything is, the browsers are coming up and everything. I have no clue what's going on right now. It did it this morning, though. No, I have the video in the browser and it's not working. This is insanity. Put it in the other browser. Cool. It starts to play. Yo, this shit is, I'm tripping out. It's in the browser and it starts to play. So let's start sharing it. Window. And there's no sound now. It's playing, but now we don't have sound. What type of crack? Yo, this is mad. It's StreamYard, but it's not playing in StreamYard. This is fucking. Won't do it. Won't budge. It's right here. Won't go. Won't do anything. It's not doing anything. Look, I'm not even getting video now. Yo, got sound. Sound is good. Camera is good. Audio is good because it's coming through. Volume, speakers and output, input going through the cast. Everything is on. And you can hear me speaking. You can hear me talking clear as day. We're gonna see and troubleshoot together, I guess. This fucking horseshit. When I use the other browser, that browser, I'm not getting sound out of it. Let me see something. Let me try something. I'm trying to swap it. I'm gonna try to swap over to this whole browser over here. Try to run it out of this browser. See what happens. Boom. Hold on, I'm trying something live to see if it's the browser itself. And I'm getting browser issues. Swap the browser out, but This was also another thing. So bear with me. Close this one down. Put that one there. Now this one doing the same fucking thing. It's no way. It's no fucking way. Now when I put it in this browser, it's doing the same thing like it did in the last one. Yo, the same shit that it did when I was using Chrome. Now I'm using Explorer. It's doing the same exact thing. I pulled a video. I dropped the video in there. Now it doesn't want to work. Look, I'll show it to you. Share the screen. There we go. New tab. There we go. Right. Get the video. Put the video inside the browser to run it. Nothing. Not playing. Nice hat. Thank you, bro. This is insanity. There's always some bullshit with fucking streaming, dog. Let me check. I don't. What other setting could this be? It's not that. It's not that. Those two are popping up. Not that. Not that. Not that. I don't even know. It's in the browser. We all see it in the browser, but it's not playing. It's not doing anything. This is fucking horseshit. Well, guys, that was a 30 minutes spent real well. Hanging out with you guys. Awesome night. On that note, I'm about to switch back browsers. So wait one. We about to watch some other videos. Fuck it. Fuck it. I'm about to stream another video. So give me 1 second. I'm about to swap the browsers back. Nah, Mix, tell Mike Love what's going on while I set this shit up, please. Put him in the game. Closing this one down. Yo, thanks for hanging in there, bro. All right, we got some action. See what we got in the vault. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun. Look at this doofus. This skinny in them people. This is skinny in them people down in Florida. Now it's no. Oh my god. Now sound trip. Yo, you hear me now? Y'all getting sound from the video? We can hear you, not the video. Fucking stream. Boy, stream y'all for real. We over here troubleshooting, I guess. Have mercy. The death stare. Jesus Christ. This is insanity. Is this working? The browser has lost connection to your screen. What the fuck is going on? Y'all got sound on this?
what did he say?
Yo, I have no clue. I have no fucking idea at this point. I don't know. You can hear the soundboard, so the soundboard's coming true. Let me kick it from here. Still won't run it. Yo, that's it. I don't know what else to do. I promise you, I don't know what else to do. I have no clue what the fuck else to do at this point. I gotta end it, yo. I gotta end it and restart this whole computer. Thanks for hanging out. Y'all know it's a love thing. Peace, power, prosperity. Take yourself, take your people that's around you. Love yourself, you love the people that's around you. I'm about to do a quick troubleshoot on it. If it works, I'll be right back. So I'll try to be right back anyway. Thank you for hanging out.
Many questions have been brought forward and very little answers. And so, in the wake of this, many accusations have been thrown at people in Charlie's close family and friend circle. And a man that has been subject to a lot of allegations is Tyler Bowyer, a fellow Latter-day Saint. So we decided, instead of talking more about someone, we invited him on to see if he would be willing to address some of these hard claims. And I think what you'll find will be very interesting. My name is Jackson Wayne Paul, and welcome to Latter-day Saints.
What power shall stay the heavens from pouring down knowledge from heaven upon the heads of the Latter-day Saints?
I just kind of want to kick this off.
Okay. Have mercy upon my soul. All right. Tyler Bowyer, Turning Point Action, attached to TPUSA, involved in a bunch of scandal. It's a bunch of shit. This is an interview from the Latter-day Saints. These guys have a podcast over there. This is the only time I've ever seen them, right? But this guy aggravates my fucking soul. I'm being so sincere. This guy, we are 50 minutes in and it's now starting to work. This guy, Tyler Bowyer, aggravates my fucking soul. I've seen a little bit of this interview and it cooked me. I'm gonna try to be smooth. Without further ado.
Off sharing a little bit of our motivations and intentions of inviting you on the channel and why we were anxious to do so. And then I'll kind of give you the opportunity to do the same. But actually, one of our first episodes that we did was commentating on some of the members of your...
And so much time with her. And, you know, Charlie and I have always been in the same camp where we've had nothing negative to say about anyone that's a former, current, you know, an important figure within the movement. And so, you know, it's obviously been, I think, shocking to hear, you know, people come out so negatively about you. You know, to the point of making things up or spreading, you know, completely manufactured or false elements that you had, you know, really such a normal, you know, working relationship with for many, many years. So yeah, it's been kind of shocking and surprising along the way. Obviously, it's kind of spurred a bunch of people on the internet to, you know, be, I think, extremely and vehemently, to a certain extent, angry and kind of nasty to people. You know, I don't think any of us expected that, but here we are.
Yeah. And so I'm glad that you've come on and you've decided to kind of head on it, you know, tell your side of the story on some of these things. I'd love to give you the opportunity to kind of help the audience understand what your intentions are, motivations for coming on, and especially to, you know, this show, Latter-day Saints, to kind of talk about some of these things.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm totally open to open dialogue. Like you said, you know, remember the church beginning of
one of
how this is going, you know, quote unquote, you know, I'll use air quotes, how this is going.
Yeah.
It are people who are, you know, questioning usually the federal government, which again, I totally empathize with. I mean, at Turning Point, we run an organization where we say, hey, the government is questionable. There's a lot of things that are, I don't think that should be. There's to very beginning of Candace's tenure within the conservative movement, and we had hired her. You know, I was the one that was the CEO of Turning Point that sent her offer and spent so much time with her. And, you know, Charlie and I have always been in the same camp where we've had nothing negative to say about anyone.
Can you kind of help the audience understand what your intentions are, motivations for coming up?
Yeah, the LDS community, to a certain extent, is an important part.
To get into it, Candace, she's explained from the beginning that...
All right, this is the first question. This is the first legitimate question. We are here. We are here. Hell and high water, dog. Fight, struggle, push through the bullshit that we had to, but we're fucking here finally. We're about to begin. Let's go. So it is against the rules to criticize the circus freak Donald Trump in this live stream. Yeah, it is. Attack his ideology, attack his behavior, right? Talk about his behavior. Don't talk about him. For what? Talk about somebody else. I think that's kind of like, we do it in a joking manner, right? But nah, ain't no need to attack him. Attack what he does, his ideology, his behaviors, sure, all day, every day.
That one of her motivations in, diving so deeply on this is because she personally doesn't trust the FBI narrative that's currently out there that Tyler Robinson was a lone conspirator, that it was, motivated by leftist ideologies and stuff, and that he used the Mauser 30-06 and acted alone and stuff like that. And so I'm curious, like, not just from like the Turning Point standard, but like from you, do you feel that the current narrative of what the Federal Bureau of Investigation has come out with, do you feel confident that they are on the right track with that?
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind that this is a state level investigation. So local authorities are the ones that are running point on this murder investigation. And so I want to first start off by saying that anything that I've seen where people are, trying to ignite, I think, the internet to be upset about how this is going, quote unquote, I'll use air quotes, how this is going, are people who are, questioning usually the federal government, which, again, I totally empathize with. At Turning Point, we run an organization where we say, hey, the government is questionable. There's a lot of things that are not to be trusted. And, coming out of 4 years of Joe Biden, it's understandable why a lot of people would question the intelligence agencies. Kind of where my headspace is, there is an investigation that's being carried out right now. There's a ton of evidence that, again, one of my good friends, Jack Posobiec, has pointed to pretty religiously that shows the involvement of Tyler Robinson, who they apprehended. But the big question that most people have asked is said, well, where did he come from? What is his motivation and everything else? That's all part of the murder investigation. So they've laid out what is publicly accessible to everyone. And by the way, there's no difference between what I've seen and what the average citizen has seen. Is, there's all of this evidence that's pointing directly and making a strong case for an individual that's been accused of murder. And
there's no case. There's literally no case. There's no hard evidence and zero hard proof that Tyler Robinson did this shit. There's none.
We don't know all the other surrounding pieces of evidence that could come out as part of this investigation, and those are going to be relayed over the course of the next number of months ahead that best put authorities in the position to go after the proper suspects and, again, the proper motivations. And so what concerns me a little bit is that people are demanding answers to things way ahead of a complete investigation, a trial that is probably not going to occur. Many have speculated that it won't occur until early 2027. And so I think people just aren't aware of the timelines. Again, the average citizen. And so they're thinking in terms of like, well, this matters a whole lot to me because Charlie mattered to me, which I totally get that. Being one of his closest friends is like, I want this thing to be over tomorrow.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's not how murder investigations and big trials that the entire world is conscious of. That's not how these things work, unfortunately. And so,
heads up, this is the same guy that when Charlie wrote the letter about having that forensic look, right? The Department of Government Efficiency, the Doge letter. This is the guy that was removed from Turning Point USA and sent to Turning Point Action. This is the same guy. Heads up.
We want this to go as swiftly and as justly as humanly possible, but at the same time, you can't have the internet making demands around every bit of speculation and then expect that that's going to go well for help. Again, you talk about narratives. I don't really care about what narratives are. I care about what truth and justice look like. Narratives can stem from, law enforcement. They can stem from the defense. They can stem from the internet. They can stem from speculators. None of that is helpful to actually get into the truth.
Yeah.
What is helpful is looking at facts, trusting that America has really what's an imperfect but the best version of a justice system in the world, and also looking at Utah and going, this is Utah's time to shine, to show that everything works the way it's supposed to in Utah. And I have full faith and confidence that that's the case.
And I realize there's an aspect here that the people that are involved, the law enforcement that are involved in this investigation, they're not hopping on a live stream every day and updating the public, okay, this is what we found, this is where we're at. And so it does leave a big door open for people to speculate and, to try to come up with their own explanations for things. In regards to, things that have been thrown out there as evidence, for me, I have, a lot of experience with firearms and guns like that. And so with the current, I guess, murder weapon and the 30-06 that
This is the issue, right? The lack of transparency is what breeds what they like to call conspiracy theory. Right? And for us to sit here and act like we live in this great country where the relationship between civilian and government is something that's based on trust and respect, and we could no shit just sit here and go with them because they've never lied, they've never said bullshit, they've never done bullshit to the population. It is impossible for us to sit here and act like this. And it's because they have a stringent lack of transparency. Hence the reason why the conspiracy theories and the theorists, right, are running rampant right now. Imagine if there was transparency. There would be no need for the conspiracy theorists, right, the CTs, to go crazy. But it's because of this relationship that's been going on for hundreds of years between civilian and government, and the lack of trust that we have in them after all these lies, after all the shit they said, after all the shit they've done. This is why that relationship is like that. This is why that relationship is strained. This is why there's a great lack of trust. And they do absolutely nothing to try to bridge that in between them and the civilians.
that was allegedly used
As a matter of fact, they do more shit to exacerbate the fucking problem.
in the committing of the crime. Have you looked much into that? Does that sit right with you? Do you know much about ballistics and guns and stuff like that?
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, I personally have some of my own thoughts around it. With all of that, what I can say is that, and I want to put this into perspective for anyone that's listening, especially in Utah. I mean, this is quite literally, and again, it pains us to talk about this, but this is one of the most photographed, most videoed murders in American history. I mean, as much. So to put that into perspective, this isn't like a situation where there were no cameras around. There were more cameras in the vicinity. There were so many individuals that were recording in real time. All of that has been compiled and utilized in the apprehension of the murder suspect. And so for people to, again, question, again, all of the details that are around the murder without really having any of that evidence at their fingertips, I think is jumping really way far ahead of what that investigation is going to lay out, if that makes sense. For me as an individual, just like everybody else that's listening to this, is that I would want to see that evidence before I come to any kind of determination around, again, the murder as a whole, the suspect, the weapon, whatever else might be there.
I don't know what issue he has with answering questions directly, but whatever it is, he needs to go back, sit the fuck down, and fix it. He has a problem answering questions. He will sit there and waffle and waffle and blunder and waffle and blunder and blink and look around and talk and talk and talk, but never answer the fucking question being asked to him. He's full of fucking shit. Answer the simple question that's being asked to you. Why is this a problem? You know why it's a problem? Can anybody guess? Take a stab in the dark why it is a problem from the answer question. He's a fracking idiot. Fracking. Yeah, I gotta start using fracking again. He can't answer a simple question being asked. He's just talking, waffling, 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 and talking about it. Everything around the question, but not answering the question. In case y'all haven't noticed by now.
And again, if they didn't have those things, it would make it a really easy way for the suspect to be able to get out of being that suspect, of being accused and convicted of that murder. So so that to me is like the where my mind frame is right now is, let's see that all of that before we jump to any kind of conclusions about what could have or what people think should have happened. Because I think a lot of that explanation will be laid out clearly by law enforcement.
Yeah. And hopefully it is. Yeah.
He didn't even answer the question. The reason why that question exists, Tyler, because people are saying it does not make sense simply because a 30-06 will cause so much damage. That's what's being said. And this is not something he's not aware of. This is he's not unaware of these things. He can even answer simply, does he know about ammunition, ballistics, rifles, firearms? Did he answer that question?
I've seen a lot of videos made on both sides of the spectrum. There's some that say yes, so that could be the murder weapon. Others, there's like, no way. I myself, I have a difficult time with the experience that I have with firearms and stuff to believe that, but I totally understand what you're saying. I guess to kind of get more into the specific claims of Candace, on that initial episode that we did a reaction to her comments in regards to TPUSA is not a Christian organization, it's a Mormon one. She made some pretty bold allegations against you, and she has repeated several times that one of the reasons that she quote unquote doesn't trust you, I guess, is because she labels you as this sexual deviant. And we'll just play the clip just so people have a context of this is kind of one of the first like allegations as far as I've been able to see that she kind of threw out about you. So Brandon, if you want to roll that.
Also, another person who wrote us was telling me the story about Tyler Boyer's involvement in like Maricopa County politics in general. Like, what did he do before in Arizona? And yeah, it's just the kind of stories again that he said he approached him several times about embezzlement. Not Charlie, Tyler was hooking up with young interns, young male interns, or young male workers, and he didn't even care. He's like, I would go on record because all this happened, and I had the proof that all this happened, and everybody knows about Tyler Boyer at Turning Point USA. It's like an absurdity. But this is the person that is putting people into places of power at Turning Point USA. Also,
so she presents it as if it's this foregone conclusion, like, oh yeah, everybody just knows this. And then on Twitter, I saw one time that you posted a tweet and she responded to it like, Tyler, you and your wife are swingers. And so I guess the questions that I have is, where do you think that these allegations are coming from? Have people alleged this about you before? And like, is there any truth to any of this at all?
So there is, so straight off the bat,
yeah,
Candace has said this numerous times, and this has come from, and I'll kind of explain this hopefully to your audience so people understand it, that I'm gay, that I have some kind of, secret gay life that I live. This isn't unique to me. This is something that's pretty commonly said by the establishment in general that attacks political enemies pretty commonly. So just so that you guys are aware, and you wouldn't believe this, but I think the next week, right after that, or a couple weeks later, another individual came out and said that Charlie was gay or secretly gay, that other people were gay. This is like the textbook, just try to help see somebody's character with absolutely no factual basis whatsoever. And it's actually pretty damaging what was said here, because obviously that's never happened. I'm not gay. I have 3 kids, and a wife that I've been married to for the entire time. I was married previously. My son is from a previous marriage. And so there's like the speculation, I think, when, when people become obsessed with you, they start asking.
This is the second question he's been asked that he drugged somebody else in on it. The first question, he drug in another guy, Jack Posobiec, right? Talking about how Jack feels about it and what Jack has said. Now the question that is on you now and your proclivities in the bedroom, and maybe you have deviant behavior, right? And you bring up Charlie. It's a whole lot of deflection going on in this mob. A whole lot of deflection going on. You had to build this whole thing up, get this snowball rolling for you to just say no. You're not a gay man. And your justification for it is saying that you have children and a wife.
You all sorts of questions. People make up rumors. They do really nasty stuff. And like I said, they've done that to many people, including Charlie himself. This happened to pretty frequently. And it's just not based on any kind of fact. If it was anywhere factual, those people would come forward. Trust me, the left wants me gone, wanted Charlie gone, wanted all of the things that we do in politically where we attack the left. So specifically, they would use that against us. And so, it's kind of like ridiculous that, you have this person that seems to have an axe to grind, that's angry about something. I really don't totally understand it, other than just trying to take advantage of, people who are in their most vulnerable state following the loss of someone that's closest to them.
Candace, Charlie's friend. You don't think she's also vulnerable? You don't think she's subject to also feeling pain? But Candace isn't vulnerable because she's speaking out about y'all behavior, about how y'all are acting around this whole thing, this whole event, this whole tragedy. She speaks out about it. And y'all the vulnerable ones. When she's defending him and riding for him, and y'all sit in that quiet line and can't get your story together. Does that make sense? Does that logically line up? Shouldn't y'all be riding with Candace to find out the truth about this shit? If y'all see Candace is spearheading a movement that hundreds of people have gotten behind to do research, to look at film, try to reproduce the event itself, and get to the answers and get to the truth. Why y'all not spearheading the movement with her? Why does it seem like y'all are moving against her? Why does it seem like y'all moving shady and she's being hyper transparent? Why does it seem like she's riding harder than Erica is riding? She really riding for the truth. What are y'all riding for? Because that's your man's, right? That's your man's. You so vulnerable, right? That's your man's. That's your ace boom. What are you riding for? Strange, huh?
To go out and attack people. But you had mentioned this, is like there's this whole element that exists. I'll bring up Mikey too. Mikey was accused of being
another person. The question is about you, your behavior, your proclivities. It's about you. Ain't about Charlie. Ain't about Mikey. Ain't about Bob. Ain't about Jim. Ain't about Peter and Paul. It's about you, Tyler. You, just you. You need to speak for you like a man speaks for themselves and wears it on his back and carries the brunt and carries his load like a man. So they're sitting here dropping other people's name inside of your answer like a child, it's going to deflect away from what is being brought to you and laid in front of you to do it. You had the heart to get on your cam and get on the pod and swear to God that you hear in the name of transparency. You hear to clarify things. You hear to answer questions, but for real, you have not answered not one question yet. And when you seem to try to answer the question while you talk around it, waffling and bumping your gums and skinning your teeth up there, you dropping other people's name inside your answer. That's real manly. That's some grown man shit right there.
Being gay, there's videos that are AI that have been put out about Mikey, myself, others in this entire world. I mean, it is so ridiculous that you just can't even really respond to it because it's just such made up garbage and baloney. But I believe there's a real reason why people do these kind of things, and most of it is the idea is that to attack a person's character, which again, if you followed or ever read, I don't know how familiar you guys are with Saul Alinsky, but Saul Alinsky wrote a book called Rules for Radicals, and Alinskyites, they subscribe to this. And a lot of modern leftists subscribe to Alinsky rules, which you essentially utilize to attack and, you harness and close in on your enemies so that people will attack them, dismiss them, and in some cases, commit violence against them. And this is probably what terrifies me, my family, and others so much, is that when you do this and engage in this behavior, especially when it's not correct, it really puts you in the crosshairs for a lot. And I believe that that's what happened to Charlie. That's what's happened to so many others within the movement. We've seen a very violent string of attacks from people all the way from Antifa to radicalized individuals who we mentioned. The accusation is some of that had something at play here with Charlie's murder. My biggest fear is that people hear these things, they see these things, people who are involved, and it starts to create a characterization online that then animates people enough to want to, say awful things, but then, pick up and maybe do harmful, violent things. Mm-hmm. And so we've seen this just since this has happened. My ask is like for people to stop, because obviously it's completely untrue. I have nothing against anyone that's gay, but know lots of people who are.
What the frack are you talking about? Yo, this
gay and things like that, but I'm not, and so it's like we would love for that type of rhetoric to stop, because I think that there's a lot of people that we've seen online who are extremely animated about this stuff, and have said things to me that are either verging on or violent in nature, and it's really unsettling to know that that's out there, especially based off of just people making these accusations that are completely.
So now you're a victim.
Unsubstantiated or untrue.
Yeah.
So
no, I understand that. And when I saw it, she said that it came from someone that reached out to their inbox and is willing to go on record because they have the proof of everything. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to make a claim and you say you have all the proof of the thing, let's see all the proof. And so,
and I can just tell you that that's just not true. And that's probably why you haven't seen that, because it's not true, obviously. So like this is unfortunately how Alinsky tactics work, right? Is where you say something and then you don't follow up with anything, but that's not the only thing that's been said that's harmful or untrue. I mean, there's wild accusations and people, and again, that have been on the internet saying things that that we've engaged or I've engaged in child trafficking, for example, that, you know, that there are people that they're getting my name confused with Tyler Robinson. So they see Tyler and they see Tyler. This is how low level and kind of idiotic some of the stuff is, right? So,
Yo, this man just waffling. How you go from talking about child trafficking to your name being mixed up with Tyler's name? Is Tyler supposed to be a trafficker? What is going on here?
you have this baseline of just people, you brought up in that clip, it's just embezzlement. Like I've never embezzled money. Like she mentioned Maricopa County. I was chairman. I was the youngest chair of Maricopa County's Republican Party. I got elected, as kind of the anti-McCain candidate. And I ended up hosting Trump for what became the first ever Trump rally in Arizona. I was hated by the establishment, the very people who make things up about people that are untrue. Like,
so it's nothing new to you. So why are you complaining about it now, bro? If you've been hated, it's nothing new. So what you crying about? Why is it relevant right now? Well, let me tell you what he's talking about. This is what he's referring to right here. Tyler Bowyer, who served as CEO of Turning Point USA, Turning Point Action, has been publicly connected to multiple controversies. He was among 11 so-called fake electors indicted in Arizona in relation to the 2020 presidential contest. Reported as an indictment and then later pardoned. I wonder who gave them the pardon. Independent reporting. Oh, get out of here. Independent reporting and activist sites have also accused Bowyer of mishandling or covering up an alleged assault complaint at Turning Point. Charges Bowyer and the organization have disputed in public responses. Carrying on.
This claim that she mentioned, the same people that made up these claims that I have that I am gay or I embezzle money. These are all the same people who want to rid opposition within the conservative movement, specifically to the establishment. And so I'm really proud that we've built an organization that's created an alternative to the establishment. I think the establishment was on a very destructive track. It was really going to damage and hurt the country long term. And so, yeah, I'm kind of hated by a lot of those people.
If you're in politics, my buddy, my friend, little guy, you are part of the establishment. So this against the establishment, this anti-establishment conversation you haven't, stop it.
But those are the elements that started those things. I was really curious to see other people and the types of people who pick those things up and try to run with it, because their dream is to, again, isolate and attack their political enemies. And, I've been doing this long enough where like those things don't bother me, and they shouldn't bother others that want to get involved. But my biggest fear is that when people see these things, they go, oh, I never want to get involved in politics. Like if they're going to attack and make up stuff about people and, be that venomous towards people getting involved, or, even a person that's that close to somebody who just got murdered, like they'll do that to me. And I think that's a really scary thing to think about.
You're not a victim, dude.
Within American politics, is that people shouldn't feel that way. They shouldn't feel scared to want to speak up or get involved because they're afraid that they're going to get attacked.
Mm-hmm.
Sack up, man. Please sack up.
Yeah. And touching on one of the things that you talked about, how in that she alleged that, you were involved in some sort of embezzling and stuff like that. In one of her streams last week, she referenced some content from a video that was made by a guy named Zach DeGregorio from Wolves in Finance that he kind of did an expose on a company that's affiliated with Turning Point called 110 Media, that is a self-proclaimed marketing company. And that is ran by a guy, one of the senators of Arizona, Jake Hoffman, that I guess you've been affiliated with in business in the past at We the People USA. And through this company, it appears that like millions of dollars has been transferred to 110 Media from Turning Point and other like political campaigns like Harry Lake and stuff like that. And so I'm curious, are you a partner of 110 Media, or can you help us understand what that company is that is run by Jake Hoffman?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's pretty basic. I mean, anyone that's ever run a business, right, has marketing agencies that they work with. 110's a marketing agency that we work with that places ad buys and media buys for Turning Point. So it's not the only media firm that we work with. We work with a handful. A lot of media we do internally on our own. So we build our own teams at Turning Point USA, Turning Point Action for that. But for example, I mean, it's actually a little bit concerning that anyone that would claim to be, an accounting aficionado wouldn't be able to look into the basics of what an expense would be to a marketing agency. And again, just a pretty solid, like pretty straightforward. When you buy ads, they go in different places. So if they're billboards, you have to buy the billboard space. If it's online digital, if it's Meta or Facebook, right, Instagram, you have to buy ads within their world on Google Ads, and then text messaging and everything else. You hire an ad agency that makes those media buys and placements. And so when people are saying, oh, millions of dollars is transferred to an agency, we buy ads through that agency. It's a pretty typical method for any organization. Obviously, we're a political organization. Our PAC, and again, for those that are listening for the first time and understanding what a political action committee is, or a 501c4 or 501c3, 501c4s and political action committees engage in sometimes direct election involvement. PACs do that basically 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Most of the things that PACs do are advertising, placing ads. So when you see an ad on TV, for example, oftentimes it's either a campaign or it's a PAC that's putting that on. And so 110 has been our ad agency, above board, everything for many years. You have a handful of partners who do the ad placements. They're one of our top partners for that. And so people kind of looking at that and ignoring all the other media buys that we do, and the other, obviously, Turning Point's a behemoth. We didn't become a big brand overnight. Jake and his company are what helped build the Turning Point brand and made it kind of a national phenomenon.
Cool. And so I
don't think people are saying or can't comprehend how businesses work with each other. I think the issue is the amount of money. It doesn't look correct. That's what I think the issue is. But
it's an outside organization. You're not a partner on 110 Media at all. That's a separate thing.
Yeah, no, it's an ad agency. Cool. So day to day on that is all run by Jake and his team that he has. Obviously, we've been close. We only trust when you're in politics too. It's as you can imagine, there's not very many ad agencies that want to work with conservatives. Most ad agencies are pretty liberal, actually. And so you can't go out and just hire any ad agency. And in fact, even within the conservative movement, most agencies that exist, things celebration.
And that on public record, she says that your wages were garnished. And so it paints this picture of, financial hardship. And then 4 years later in 2021, they point towards you putting a hefty down payment of $650,000 on a house. And so the picture that's being painted is, how did it go from this alleged scenario, which it shows possible financial hardship, to then having enough money to put a $650,000 deposit on a house? And so is there any light that you can shed on that? Or is that something that you're saying that he got wrong as well, or misrepresented facts?
Yeah, totally wrong. Yeah. So unfortunately, I mentioned earlier in this podcast, so I had a previous marriage, got married in 2012, and it ended pretty abruptly. Not that long after. I have a good relationship with his son that came out of it. He's an incredible dude, and we love him so much. But in the midst of that, we had bought a house that, it was, I don't know if you remember, but the economy was in a massive spiral during that time period. It was pretty bad. So when we had gotten our divorce, we unfortunately couldn't sell the house. The house wasn't worth what we had bought it for.
Mhm.
And so had to let it go. And so as part of that, we also had our first property, which was a condo. And apparently what had happened, I wasn't even aware of, and this is actually kind of a cool part of the story that came out of this, is that HOAs are notorious for going after people and trying to basically get money out of them for years and years after the fact. There apparently was a condo association fee that was not paid when that was let go. And what ended up happening was they sat on it for 10 years and charged attorney's fees for 10 years on that. So it went from like being like $300 or $400 to like $10,000. And I didn't know about it until it ended up in my mailbox 10 years later, and which paid it off right away. And was like, there's nothing you could do. And so the good news is that that a law was passed in Arizona, which this was one thing that I had instigated.
After this question right here, we're gonna roll out. You hear me? It was tough just getting here tonight, so I'll split this in two.
With people is that they can't do that to you. Basically, just hide for 10 years and charge you 10 years worth of attorney's fees for some like random HOA cost that wasn't paid, because I thought it had been taken care of when we had turned the property over at the time. But unfortunately, there was nothing that I could do about that. And once it came to my attention, paid it off right away. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Because he painted this picture. I'll go for it.
Yeah. So I mean, but again, I'm happy to talk about it. It's like not really a secret, but yeah, it's kind of sucked for me. Like I would have much rather, if you actually look at the filing, you can see what the original fee was that was unpaid. But this is a real problem for many people, is that HOAs can assess these fees and then go after them many, many years later. Again, like I mentioned, a law was passed that just eliminated that stopped them from able to take advantage of that. There's like kind of these like dirtbag law firms that just support HOAs to do that to people. And, our expectations that they've done that to a lot of people. It happened to me. And so again, I think we solved that problem, but it was paid off right away as soon as I was aware of it, which, I wasn't aware of it until it's in a letter that
we heard you the first time.
We're trying to garnish my wages for something I had no idea about.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's a completely different scenario in which is painted. So yeah, that's.
I paid it right away. And then you brought up.
He's just repeating himself.
I live in an unrenovated. Yes, it's a nice house, but it's not by any means. I think it's been demonstrated. I live in Mesa. My wife and I put down a down payment after selling our last house, and then we just put all of our money from the house that we had sold prior to that, and then all of our savings into this house that we had kind of invested into. And we looked at it as an investment because we, it's been brought up. It's like, so we made a land investment as part of like what we decided to do with our money, because at the time it was. Just to kind of paint a picture, it was COVID. We had looked at building a house in Gilbert, where I'm from, and as we started down that process, lumber costs went up about 3x. And so once we started doing that, we were like, this is kind of stupid. And a lot of,
There's something weird about people when they just keep talking and talking and talking. It's almost like they're trying to convince themselves why they try to convince you, because they know they just waffling, pretty much lying. It comes off like he's not telling the truth. I don't want to call him a liar, but I'm saying it comes up that he's not being genuine or truthful in his answer. Straight like that. We got here finally. It was hell getting here. I got to split this in two. If it started when it was supposed to start on time, we would have got through this. But because we had an uphill climb in the beginning of the show, I got to split this one in two. I'm already at an hour and 30. Appreciate all the support. Hit the buttons. I split this one in two and jump back at it again soon. Peace, power, prosperity to the village. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the likes. Appreciate y'all hitting the button. Appreciate the share. Appreciate y'all turning your notifications on all. Whenever we hit the red button, y'all can pull up to the town square while it's clean and all is fair. Y'all know it's a love thing. Take care of yourself so you take the people that's around you. Make sure you love yourself so you can love the people that is around you, man. You know it's a love thing from FDNHT Trin. Take care. I see y'all soon. All right.